It's been a while since we talked about Lake Highlands. So Lake Highlands is awesome. It's a highly desirable place. You're talking city of Dallas, but Richardson schools, which is kind of a sweet spot overlay for a lot of people. It's funny, if you're from the area, Lake Highlands is what it is. You know where it is. If you're not from the area, you may not know that there's a little bit of a dispute over where the actual boundaries of Lake Highlands are. So there's some people would say they're in Lake Highlands and they're outside of 635. And others would be like, if you're outside 635, that's
you
not
ain't
Lake
in Lake Highlands.
If you're east of certain places, and I'm not going to call people out, but some people would be like, that's not Lake Highlands. Others would say, there would be some dispute about the lake itself, which is White Rock Lake. Some people would be like, why is it called Lake Highlands? Well, it's the higher ground, mostly north of White Rock Lake.
The highland.
It's the Lake Highlands. And many, 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 many of the homes over there in areas called like the L Streets, by the way, were originally built by or for communities that thought of that as outside of Dallas way back then. Outside of Dallas, those were lake homes, not like on the lake, but around and near the lake. There's so much cool history of Lake Highlands that during, let's just say, problematic times in the United States, there were like Job Corps projects out there to build some of those roads and build some of those facilities. Flagpole Hill is kind of a big deal over here. It's one of the highest points in Dallas, even though it's only like less than a few hundred feet above sea level.
Or
it's
tiny
just kind of
mountain.
funny. But Lake Highlands is an awesome place to be. It's a great location, northeast Dallas, but has a bit of a Richardson vibe because of the school district. Not in Richardson, but in the Richardson School District. Great location, kind of up and down 75, right there at that corner of 75 and 635.
A lot of mid-century ranch style, modern.
Man, the mid-century modern
architecture.
term is really popular in Lake Highlands.
Yeah.
There's been some tear down, rebuild. There's also a lot of fighting to keep Lake Highlands with some of those original homes and original styles. But from a real estate perspective, it has always been a hot spot in DFW, meaning like as long I've been in the DFW area over 20 years. I'm not originally from here, but I've been here for a long time. It has always been a place that people want to live. Occasionally you'll kind of hear the joke that like you go to Lake Highlands and then if you can, you go to Highland Park.
A little entry point.
And not everybody wants to make that move, but those are two very, very desirable places to live. And so Lake Highlands has got a very good community-oriented feel. There's a lot of like, if you know someone over there, you kind of know everyone over there. Like Highlands Town Center is kind of new in the last 15 to 20 years. People loved the redevelopment, but some people kind of miss the older, mature vibe over there. But if I were just to give you a snapshot, as we've been doing with lots of areas around DFW over the last 5 years, days on market is not a perfect metric, but it's a good general check-in just to tell you the pace of the market. Okay. How many days are homes spending on the market? I'm going to go from 20 to 25, which is actually 6 years, and just to give you the averages year by year. So starting in 20, going to 2025, we had 84, 23, 18. So a quick decrease in homes days on market, very, pretty dramatically from 84 to 23 to 18. And then we see the climb back up. So from 18, we go 35, 58. And then this year to date, which is misleading because we don't have the whole year, we're back down to 36. Now, days on market is not the most valuable, most incredible, most important metric. That's a median, by the way. So just kind of middle of the distribution. Now, when we look at months of inventory, that usually tells us, are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? And what that means is who has the most leverage, who's getting the better deals. Buyers get a better deal when there's a lot of inventory, meaning there's tons to choose from and sellers are more negotiable. When there's a lot less to choose from, sellers tend to have more power, not as many homes to choose from and more buyers out there choosing between them. So from 2020 to 2025, that looks like 3 months of inventory, then 1, then 1, then 3, then 3, then 3. And I'm just kind of picking a month to represent the whole year. I'm using January's just so you guys know. It tends to be one of the slower months of the year in DFW, but it doesn't really matter. It's very, very similar inventory-wise within those calendar years. So what does total number of sales look like in Lake Highlands over those years? In those same years, we go 46 to 52 to 53 to 41 to 42 to 58. So very consistent.
Steady.
Now that's in 1 month. So we're going January year over year over year. So just what's happening in January in 2020 through 2025. Closing price, meaning when a house actually closed, what was the price it closed at? And again, I'm using January, which is one of the slower months. Median is almost every year somewhere between high threes and low fives. 373, 430, 510, 392, 510. The value of homes in Lake Highlands has skyrocketed in the last 20 years. And that's not an exaggeration. We're talking about homes that were being bought in the high ones that are now being bought in the low to mid fives. You're like 3 to 4 times the property value just in the last, 10 to 20 years. That's wild. It's a good thing if you are buying and selling. Now, one of the other things about Lake Highlands is there's a lot of buying and staying and never wanting to leave. And so there's been some frustration around those tax values because Lake Highlands has had incredible tax values.
Sure.
But incredible place to live. Less affordable, meaning just the entry price point is much harder. Real unique personality with literally the highlands over the lake. When I used to live there and work there every single day, I always really liked how there was elevation to the roads. You get stuck at a stoplight every once in a while and realize, I can see for like a mile. I can see the rolling hills over here. There's some grid pattern neighborhoods. There's not a lot of like named neighborhoods over there. The L Streets has some real personality, but a lot of it is just, hey, I'm at Skillman and Royal. I'm over at Abrams. It's what are the cross streets? What part of the grid do you live in? And then you get down to Northwest Highway, which is really the kind of the southern divide for most people. And you get into what others would just kind of call East Dallas or White Rock Lake area. And then to the north, you're getting up into kind of the Richland College area and then up into Richardson, East Dallas to the east, southeast, and then, to the west, you're getting into either Dallas or little edges of Richardson. But very cool place to live, direct access, immediately accessible to just about everything you could want. Lots of good restaurants, lots of good retail. RISD school district, Richardson schools are tend to be, almost all the time highly regarded. You've got community college in that area, Collin College not too far to the north, University of Texas, Dallas. So you got higher education stuff. Not too far from Love Field and DFW, hospitals, you got it all. Lake Highlands is one of those you've got it all areas. It tends to be really pretty. Most Dallas neighborhoods, especially in Dallas, aren't known for natural beauty. You talked about kind of the mid-century modern, just a lot of ranch-style brick homes, but there's been a lot of money invested in revitalization, remodeling of some of those homes, additions to those homes, garage conversions of some of those homes, and some tear-down rebuilds. Just a really cool community where some people do view it as a first or second home community, and then they want to get out to bigger lots and bigger homes. Many view it as the community they want to get in, stay in, and never leave. Lake Highlands is a truly awesome community. Great place to live. If you're local and you haven't been over there lately or thought about it, great place to live. Go check it out. If you're checking out live on radio or podcast, or you're catching a YouTube or something and you're from outside the area, great place to consider, especially if you're wanting to be on the east or northeast part of the Dallas area. Great spot to live, work, play, and be. Lake Highlands.